We're going to show you how we created a unique award for Emirates Airlines, handed out to many of their flight attendants out of the United Arab Emirates. We're going to combine 2D techniques, 3D techniques, a little bit of creativity to show you how you can do the exact same thing with your subsurface laser engraver. Cockpit3D, brought to you by 3dcrystal.com, is next. And welcome to Cockpit3D, brought to you by 3dcrystal.com. I hope you're all enjoying Cockpit3D. It's great to see all the comments out there. I'm looking forward to show you how you can use this software at another level. If you haven't watched earlier tutorials, please watch them. It will help you understand what I'm talking about in this particular tutorial. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import a logo. So with this particular project, I want to have a 3D, I believe it's a 380. We want to have a logo, and I'm also going to create something unique to make it look even better, and I'll show that to you a little later. So to do 2D, a lot of people ask, how can I use Cockpit3D, and why would I want to use Cockpit3D for 2D? I'll explain it. So how? Well, click on this folder here. As long as you have a premium version of Cockpit3D, you can do this. You're going to select the logo, and you're going to import it. Now, I usually ask the clients to provide us logos white on black, or if they don't, then we'll convert them to make them white on black. So the reason you want it white on black is I'm going to actually show you why. So I'm going to launch this logo into Photoshop, and I'm going to do the inverse of what I want. So the exact opposite. So let me just fill up the background here. And so we have the white on the black. We're going to merge these layers, and I'm going to invert this. So image, adjustment, invert. All right, so this is exactly what I don't want. If the customer sent this to me, I would be making it white on black. So let me show you why. I'm gonna save this, come back here, click on refresh, and if I click on go and convert it to a point cloud, what ends up happening here is you have all of this white that really doesn't look nice. You kind of want to have the logo floating in transparency, and that's exactly what's not happening here. And in fact, just to see these black letters, all of this white is amounting to 1.85 million points. Can you imagine how long it's going to take to burn? So that's the reason why you want to have white on black. It looks way better. The letters are floating within the crystal on transparency, and the point count is a lot less as well. So let's go back to what we want. I'm going to make sure I've got the right layer here. I'm going to click on the paintbrush. I'm going to go image, adjustment, invert, and I'm going to save it, Control S, and I'm going to refresh over here. And now I'm happy, because now if I click on go, let's see what it was. Okay, this is the scene view. It hasn't changed the point cloud view yet, because I haven't clicked on go. So we can still see our old point cloud view if I click here. You see that? It's still there. But now when I click on go, it's going to update to the new texture. And does not look way better. And it's only 177,000 points. So hopefully this is learning number one on how you want to deal with logos. Now, the other question was not only how can you import logos or how to prep them, but why would you want to use Cockpit3D for 2D logos? See, most lasers have been used for surface etching. So for surface etching, there's really no logic when it comes to kind of doing multi-layers in the Z depth. Cockpit3D, we created it exactly for that, right? We created it so that we could create multiple layers in the Z axis so that we can have essentially amazing contrast and density and images that pop out. And so essentially, if I look at this from the side, you can see here, if I zoom in, I've got multiple layers. And that really makes it look so sharp, so striking, and so cool in crystal. But beyond that, if you want to give it more depth, what you could also do is if you go to your settings here, you could increase your maximum layers. So I'm going to increase my maximum layers to 15. Click on save, click on OK, and click on go. And now it's even thicker, right? And it's 333,000 points. So essentially, for no additional costs, you can use Cockpit3D, the premium version, to import 2D files and generate point clouds that have some thickness to it and that look fantastic and that are multi-layered and that are striking and created especially for subsurface engraving. So what I'm going to do is I'm more excited about having 3D effects on the plane. And I don't want to incur extra time. And I really don't think that this thickness in this particular case is necessary. So I'm gonna go back to my original settings. In fact, here's another lesson. Because it's white, totally white, like this logo is white, okay? There's no shades or anything to it. I really don't need 8 layers. So to increase my speed or to decrease my burn time, I'm gonna change it to 5 layers. And I think we're still gonna be happy with how it looks when it burns in crystal. And now we've made it 111,000 points, okay? So now let's move on to the next stage. We're gonna position this logo. And by the way, you can also just trim any parts of the logo that you don't need by clicking on the crop tool and just get rid of any of this. There, all right. It's easier to kind of see and visualize what we're doing. Oh, and always in the 3D world, you want to make sure that you are bringing it to the front. Okay, let's move on to another tip. So let's talk about the rectangle right now. So I have set this to be a 90, 60, 60. I punched these values in, so you can measure your crystal and you can punch it in as well. And my margin is 3 for X, my margin is 3 for Y, and as you all know, we have 3mm bevels, so you can make your margin 3 for Z as well. And I could move this back here, and we've got our Z margin. Let's take a look at it from the side here, right? And then our X margin is here, and our Y margin is here. Now, some people ask, what's the point of having this when I already have bevel? I could just set my bevel to 3, and I can make these 0. And now it's done the same thing, except it's made it look pretty because it looks exactly like the stock crystals and the facets that we take a lot of effort to actually shave on the perimeters of the crystal. Yes, it's actually done by hand. And I'll show you footage of our factory where we're actually grinding the perimeters of these crystals. And we're doing it so precisely to ensure that it's not 2mm, but that it's 3mm. Okay, that's the amount of effort that goes into the raw material and the blanks that we're creating for high quality, grade A, K9 optic crystal, okay? So why would I choose to, or what's the difference between having margins XYZ and bevel 3? Well, if you do bevel 3, it's gonna automatically put 3mm on the X, the Y, and the Z. However, let's say for example, I only wanna have X and Y, but not Z. So in that case, I can change this to 0. Okay, now I have no bevels. And then I can put 3 here, 3 here. You'll set just the X and the Y, leave the Z at 0. And that enables you to take your logo or anything that you'd like closer to the front and back edge. And that's the reason why we kind of have both over there. So in this case, I'm gonna keep my logo somewhere around there. And I'm also going to change the name of my logo. I think when you start working with multiple layers, it's important to name the layers. So I'm gonna call this Emirates logo. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to bring in a 3D file. So I created a 3D A380 from a photo provided by Emirates' head office through Cockpit3D's FastPass system. It's already done. Now, how do I add that to this particular scene? So I have both the logo and I've also got the 3D image or the 3D scene or the 3D file. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on File and I'm gonna click on Merge Scene. And now I can bring in the 3D plane that was done. So I'm gonna click on the layer that says conversion. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna label it. So it's the A380. All right, and now I'm going to click on the A380. I'm gonna remove this 90-degree rotation and I'm going to size it up. All right, now this here is a 3D file. You see, it's got depth to it. And I'm just gonna stretch it out a little bit more. There we go. But it's quite remarkable. You can see that Cockpit3D's FastPass actually made 3D of the turbine, and it looks super, super cool. So we position this the way we want, and click on Go. And now we've got our plane and our logo. One thing you need to keep in mind here is that because I changed the layers for the logo, it's also going to apply 5 layers to the plane. So you have to be careful here because we actually want 8 layers on the plane over here, and it's 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hide the plane. I'm going to create the point cloud for the logo first. I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to add Point Cloud Preview to Scene. So now this here is my logo. Watch. If I move my texture, I've got my point cloud, right? So do I need this anymore? No, I don't, right? I've already got my point cloud there. So I can actually double click on the image file, let it disappear, and I've got my point cloud. In fact, I'm going to double click on, well, no, I'll keep it there for now just for reference. Make sure I'm happy with the positioning. Remember, black is transparent, so it's okay, it's in front of it. And now I can hide this and change my layers. So I'll go here. Wrong way. 8 layers, there we go, save, okay. Did I save it? A sec. 8 layers, yeah I did. Save, okay. Click on go. Boom. Now I've got a point cloud for my plane. I'm going to add this as a layer. So Tools, add Point Cloud Preview to Scene. And now I'm going to call this A380 Point Cloud. Remember, do not resize, okay? Rule number 1. And also for this one here, this was our logo. I'm going to call it Logo Point Cloud. Do not resize. Okay. So you can resize the texture, this, but you don't want to ever resize the point cloud. Hopefully this gives you a visual of this point, because this is a very important point. These I refer to as scenes. These I refer to as point clouds. And so you want to make sure that you're never resizing a point cloud, but you're more than welcome to resize a scene. Once you're happy with the size, click on go. You have your point cloud. That should stay as is. All right, let's hide that. So we've hidden both of our scenes, our 3D model and our 2D texture. And now we've got our point cloud of the plane, and let's unhide our logo. All right, now let's apply some creativity. So to make you different than your competitors, you want to go beyond. And this is exactly who many of you are. I'm getting to know a lot about you, and I'm being introduced to many of you, some of you by name, and it's an honor to kind of join this maker community, hobbyist community. I think it's super exciting and it's really, really creative, and that's what you're good at, right? So this is where you're going to shine, because you're going to do things a lot better than kind of traditional native point cloud subsurface engravers that are just trying to push things through very, very quick. So take your time and you're able to apply something unique to this. So what am I suggesting? I'm suggesting that we use this space to create clouds, okay? So we can kind of give it the feel of it flying in the air. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to search for clouds on a black background. And I'm going to take different shaped clouds so it looks real, okay? Because no 2 clouds are the same shape. So I'm just going to snip it. And so I've saved 3 different shaped clouds from Google. I could run these through FastPass and Cockpit3D and make them 3D clouds. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to keep them 2D and I'm going to import them. So I'm going to import the first and the second one. And the third one. All right, let's hide the A380 point cloud. Let's hide the logo. And let's just resize these first because it's hard to see everything. So I'm just gonna size that one, move it out of the way, size this one, and size this one. All right, now let's bring back our point clouds and let's figure out what we're gonna do. So let's take a look at this one here. this one here, and this one here. And what I might do is, remember, we have Z. So I'm going to go to the Z axis. It would not be very realistic if they were all on the same plane. So we're going to move them to different planes. And click on Go. What do you think? Is that cool? And by the way, I did these as 2D, okay? So if you run them through the FastPass system of Cockpit3D, it'll look even cooler, okay? Because now you'll have 3D clouds as well. And this is where, in the green beam world, when you're creating something like this for a client, not only are you selling them the crystal, but because of your time and your creativity, your mind power, your brain power, you're also able to charge them a setup fee, right? And then once you've done the setup, what I would recommend is, let's just make it look pretty with the bevel, 3. And I would click on this camera here and just create a line thickness that's a bit thicker here, like that there, and save. And then you're able to open it up, and this is what it looks like. And you can send this to the customer. In fact, you can even take a few different angles by rotating it and send a few different angles. Just put this here on perspective view down here and send it to the customer from different angles so that they can approve it before you send it to your laser and you burn it. I hope you found that interesting. Please share your projects with us. Post them on the SubSurface Laser Engraving page. We're excited to see what you guys create. Thank you.